Hello, my name is Kristen Kondelbender, and I interviewed a patient who was a type 1 diabetic about her biosensor. And I asked her about the type of biosensor that she had. And it is an insulin pump with a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitoring system. She is using the sensor because she is a type 1 diabetic, which means that she no longer produces any insulin and thus must have very tight insulin regulation. So she has to frequently monitor her blood glucose. If she was unable to do that with this sensor, she would just have to regularly monitor it and monitor herself for signs and symptoms of hypo or hyperglycemia. However, with this, she's able to have a little bit of a more relaxed attitude, although it's still very important that she regulate all of this. I asked her a little bit about her disease state, and she stated that she had developed type 1 diabetes following a virus during childhood, and so it attacked her pancreas, and she no longer produces insulin. And so for many years prior to having an insulin pump, she had to have very tight regulation. So her CGM works by taking the blood glucose levels in her interstitial fluid, and it lets her know if there are highs and lows. It also is able to track trends, and now recently also can be connected by an app to her smartphone so that she'll get alerts and also can see charts and graphs of trends with her current blood glucose. I asked her if there was a stigma, or she felt like there was a stigma with having to wear the device. And she stated that before she got it, she thought there might be. However, she has since realized that the monitor is so small that it's really easily concealed and quite discreet. So she is no longer afraid that just anyone walking around would realize that she was diabetic or not understand what was going on. She said usually she can just stick it in a pocket, and she said also there are some bras as well as workout pants that have a small pocket that she can stick the monitor in. Okay, so I asked her how long she had been using the biosensor, and she said 5 years, and prior to that she had also had an earlier model. And we talked about her quality of life. I asked her if she thought this improved her quality of life, and she undoubtedly said that she certainly did believe it. It improved her quality. She said this is because, like we talked about earlier, that previously she had to constantly check her blood sugar, and she herself and family members, friends who were with her had to kind of pay attention to her just kind of signs and symptoms of low blood sugar especially, but also potentially hyperglycemia. So it's allowed her to live a more quote-unquote normal life, so that she does receive alerts if she runs high or low, and it kind of alerts her to trends so that she can adjust her insulin accordingly. And then I asked her on the flip side if there were any limitations that she noticed with her with her CGM. And she said that of course she had to remove it anytime she was going to be around water. So of course when she's showering she can't wear it, as well as if she is swimming or going to the lake, river, anything where she'll definitely be getting wet. Additionally, she said that if she's going to have a rigorous workout, she has to pause it or or at least pause the feature where it delivers insulin so that she does not get dosed inappropriately while she's working out. But she said that that is really quite okay, as far as it's an okay sacrifice for being able to otherwise utilize the machine, and it works so well for her. And then I was asking her about the duration she saw in using this, and of course she said that as long as she was able to, she would continue using the CGM with the insulin pump. We talked about the lifespan of the product. I was interested in maybe how long those last, and she stated that generally they last around 5 years, or at least the insurance will usually pay for a new one every 5 years. But she said honestly, within that 5-year period, usually they've come up with newer technology, so she's ready to get a newer one by the time the previous one kind of wears out. And then I was interested in the cost of it, and they are quite expensive. However, she said that her insurance did cover for her most recent one. Her first one, they did not cover, and she was responsible for that. Actually, her parents, but they felt like it was such an important thing that they did go ahead and pay for it for her. However, like I said, more recently, her insurance does pay for it. She, of course, has to meet her deductible and all of that. And then I was interested if there was any maintenance costs or monthly costs in association with it. And she stated that the main monthly cost is just the infusion sets that she uses for the pump, and the needle in association with that. But otherwise, it's pretty inexpensive. Of course, she has to buy the insulin to go in the pump, but that would be no different than if she was just using insulin the old-fashioned way. So then I talked to her about the infusion set, and she said that needs to be changed every week. Every 3 days, which really is minimal. And she said that sometimes she has to change it more often if she feels like there's something wrong, if she has it in a place that's sort of irritating, or there could be really a myriad of reasons that she needed to change it more often, but generally it's an every 3-day process. And then I was interested in how the complexity of the machine itself, because I'm personally not great with technology. I wondered how easily the layperson could program it and maintain it. And so she said actually after the training with the company, it's really quite easy. She showed me that you can, you put in the carbohydrates and all of that you eat, and then it delivers your insulin. And then the CGM, of course, which is truly the biosensor part of that, does send alerts to her via text message, and it also alarms on the machine so that it has kind of an audible thing, so that if she were sleeping or just, people were around her, they would hear it, and it would alert them that something might be going wrong, and she'd be able to correct that. And then, of course, it does deliver like the regular bolus doses every so often, like generally around meal times. So I found it quite interesting to learn about this biosensor. I didn't know a whole lot about it before, and it seems like it's really improving the lives of diabetics, particularly type 1, but I believe there are some type 2 diabetics that are a little bit more brittle that also do benefit from the regularity of an insulin pump. But type 1 diabetics are probably who they truly have specifically geared this device for. I really enjoyed the research, and that concluded my interview. Thank you for your time.